everybody, it's Matthew. Welcome back to a new video. Today we are going to talk about how to make better guitar riffs here today. Yes, that is it. Folks, we're going to learn a few little tricks to make riffs a little more memorable and a little bit more interesting. We're going to do things like maybe we change up the time, maybe we change up the notes, maybe we go outside the key, God forbid, to make the riff a little bit more interesting. So let's get into it real quick and learn how to do some of that stuff. Of course, you can do basic, 4/4 riffs and just be like this guy. Just something really basic like that. But is that an interesting riff that people are going to remember? Probably not really. That's a basic 4/4 riff that you're really not going to remember at all. But what's one that is not in that time signature that can be a little bit more interesting? Well, we're going to do one that a lot of people know already. Let me show you guys a little Spoon Man and you'll understand what I mean with that. Okay, I missed the mutes a little bit there, but you get the point. That riff is not in 4/4. It is in fact in 7/4, which is of course alternate time signature, where you have 7 beats in your measure instead of 4 beats. So you would have 7 quarter note beats as opposed to the 4 quarter note beats in a standard 4/4. And that just makes things a little bit more interesting. And of course that riff has a little bit of rhythmic things going on that make it even more interesting. But that's a riff everyone remembers, of course. And it's in that magical 7/4. We can keep going with Soundgarden examples, which there's one I'm thinking of right now that I can't actually play because I'm not tuned for it. But if you guys know The Day I Tried to Live, that is completely chromatic because it starts up here on the 12th and then 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And the whole main riff just goes straight through all the notes here. And then there's another section at the end of the chorus where he starts at 9 and he goes all the way down to 2 here. So that's all of these notes from the 12th fret to the 2nd fret being used in the riff. And of course the only note that is not used is this 1st fret here. And the open string is also used in that riff, so that's an interesting thing. But let's talk about applying some of that chromaticism here. I have a little riff that I made the other day here. It's very metal sounding, but you'll see what I mean by combining two things. So we're going to have a 7/4 riff with some chromaticism here. And of course that has some chromaticism here in the form of playing this major third here like this. So that's your chromatic bit there, and that riff is also in 7/4. It's a very slow one, but it's the example that I wanted to have there. And then I have another section to that I played that uses the open string and then this 1st fret here. So it's doing another chromatic thing there just to make things more interesting. Let me play some of that real quick. And that's another chromaticism thing there. So we're taking notes outside of our key completely here and then just throwing them in there because it sounds cool. It sounds interesting. That's the fun part. You never want to get bogged down by the idea that whatever you're writing has to remain in its key. You can absolutely borrow notes from somewhere else to make something cooler as long as you're resolving it properly and using, correct arranging to make sure that your key is being driven home, but you can still, go outside that a bit and do fun things like also add a major 6 to a minor progression, which is a favorite thing that I like to do. And it's just, a little bit more interesting, gives you a little bit more major sound there. It just goes outside the key to make it a little bit unexpected, And even if we do something crazy like a flat 5, And this actually sounds really cool to do here. We can do all kinds of fun stuff there like that, you know. Just throw it in there wherever you can. It'll sound cool. Trust me, as long as you do the right thing. What about alternative chords? Well, this is something that doesn't happen a lot in rock, you know, people using things besides power chords. But we can do those things, of course. Maybe we can throw in a power chord with a minor 7 on it, like this guy here. That is a favorite of mine to do because it's just an interesting sound. Especially arpeggiated, very nice. And you can also do the kind of sus4 with the octave here. That's not quite what it would be called, but you just got the 4th instead of doing the power chord with your 5th. And of course you can combine all those things. Even throw the major 7 in. You know, just whatever you want to do. And even if you want to do an arpeggiated riff. And even end it with it again. We come back to it and then we start over there. That's a fun little move there, right? Very fun. Of course, some of these riffs are going to be all over the place. What I'm doing here, because I'm improvising stuff off the cuff here. Just a, you know, crazy fun video. We like things a little spicy around here. Even do more exotic chords like this one I like. This is just the major 7 chord here, but we're doing it up here instead of where we were earlier. You gotta really make sure you get that in there. That's gonna be a fun way to end chords. Or just, yeah, throw in the minor there if you want to. You know, just whatever. Figure out different ways to throw in some of these unique notes and different chords and chromatic sounds. Whatever you want to do to make a riff sound cool. Even do augmented 4s. Why not throw those in there? You know, we like tritones. Those are fun. Funky riff like that, you know, hey, throw in those single note riffs like that and use those funky chords as long as you're resolving, you know. Hey, and we resolve there, sounds totally fine. Nothing out of place there as long as you're finishing it off in the way that makes sense. Very fun stuff there, guys, like that. Any alternatives? Well, open chords, of course, you can use, but that's kind of boring. That's mainstream, everybody knows that. So you can do something a little more exotic like this. And then we end it with the big open D there, of course. So this is kind of like a weird B chord variant here because we got the B, and then we've got this open string here, and then we've got these two guys here, which would actually make a power chord like they normally would do there. But you have this B here and then this open D that makes it a little bit more interesting. And then of course D7, that's pretty standard. And just throwing in the standard C chord there to kind of keep that a little bit grounded, of course, and make it flow nice. 7 chords, again, something that I think are really underutilized in most mainstream rock. People don't really want to use those kind of chords very often, and they're usually pretty easy to do. I mean, see, earlier we just did the modified one, which is just your power chord with the note added on top of it there, and then of course you can switch to the major one. You can do this one, which is just the 4 chord there. And I mean, that's really a basic way to do the same thing we were doing over here with some of these different chords. But this is a simpler way to do it. It might make more sense in context with a typical rock song. So that's something to think about. Okay, guys, I think that's going to do it for today's video here about riffs and learning how to make them a little bit more memorable. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, of course, if you did. Don't forget to click the bell so you get notifications when a new video is out. Leave comments below if you'd like about other riff things. Maybe you've got some other ideas of how to make a riff cool. Go ahead and drop those down there, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Have a good one.